morning and good afternoon. It's been a privilege to be your host on today's episode of the SME Roundtable, and I'm so glad that we can be doing this together because this year promises to be exciting. And I would also like to tell you, our viewers out there, that we want to get your feedback on this program, this show, and also we would like to know how we can make it better. However, you want to be a guest on this show, also reach out to us. We'll be glad to host you to hear about the exciting stuff that you are doing in your business. Today, I would like to also acknowledge the fact that this show is in partnership with other organizations who have been supporting us in almost in over a year now, and will continue to do so to ensure that your business becomes better. Just before we go into the details of what we have to talk about today, I would really like to remind us what we do at Pest Consulting. Pest Consulting is a management consulting firm that provides services that aids organizations to achieve their growth and expansion targets. We provide special attention to small and medium enterprise because we believe in a country like ours in Nigeria, they are in the majority, and if properly empowered, they can help us to drive growth across the entire country and sectors of different businesses that we are playing. Without much ado, I will just quickly want to run you through what we have for today. What the topic for discussion today might not be useful for somebody who's actually running a business. It might be for you to also validate your process, the process that led you into the business, which may also cause you to reevaluate what you've been doing so far. But this today's edition, like I said, today's edition is most suited for people who are about starting a business. And that is because we have been inundated with a lot of requests about how do they start a business. So majorly, we work more with businesses that are like that have already figured it out. But because of demands and what people are asking us to actually provide further insights on, that is why we are doing today's edition. So if you like, I think it's safe to call today's edition a special edition. Majorly, what we will be doing, talking about, is um, the ABC of starting a business. The ABC of starting a business. Um, we've had instances where people, after maybe some years working in the corporate sector, and they decided to start their business of their own after a while, and majority of them are struggling. And we have people also who are in the public sectors who want to transition into being an entrepreneur or being a business owner, and then they are not finding it very easy. But to make it easy for us, we'll just have this uh, quick nudges that we think, if you follow them, can help you to navigate that path of starting that your business. One of Before we go on, I would also like to say what we are proposing here are by no means be it all. Like, there could be other things that you might have to consider. But we believe whatever you have to consider will be in addition to what we are saying. Not that what we are saying might not be necessary. It is very, very essential. And you will do well to just pay attention, especially if you are starting a business. Number one thing I want to point our attention to is, before you start a business, having money is good, but it's not enough to start a business. You need to identify a need. You need to identify a need. A lot of people do so many stuff, not because one of the things that we always ask when we are consulting for we are trying to pick up a consultation business or engagement with any of our clients, is to ask them what led them into this particular business. And oftentimes, when you speak with the successful ones, you realize that they've been able to identify a need. Um, Oftentimes, this identification process is usually not predetermined. Oftentimes, they just stumble on it in the sense that it could be based on what people have observed about them, or what they've observed, or feedback, or majorly based on research. And they've been able to see a particular need or a trend, and they observe that people are actually interested in a particular stuff. And they decided to go that route by providing a solution that matched that need. It's not a want, remember, it's a need. Human wants are insatiable. They are insatiable. But human needs are essential things that people have to take care of. You must be able to identify that need and be able to say, okay, this is what people need. It is good to have an idea of, oh, I have a particular, maybe personally, it could be from your immediate environment or family, what they need or what you need, your daily needs. And then while you are identifying the needs, it could also be because the current provider of that particular need are not doing a good job at that. And you see an opportunity to improve on that. And that itself, it's a need. Maybe you observe that people are not satisfied with a particular product in the market, and you see that the number of people that are not satisfied are quite huge. That's also a need. So there are several metrics that you can use, not just the product or the service alone. It could be how people want to be served, and that in itself is a need. We must also not forget that once we have been able to identify these needs, the next thing that we need to do is to quantify the need. To quantify the need. Before you go into business, you must understand that identifying a need is one thing. The quantity of the need for you to make profits is another thing. So for the fact that you have few friends that want a particular stuff done, does not mean that that need is big enough or large enough for you to develop a business on. If that is the case, it is safe, or for you not, it is safe for you not to consider doing a business. Rather, maybe you can just write a letter or a note to the organization that's rendering that particular need and see how they can improve. When you observe that the need is quite huge and that the market, you can actually create profit out of this particular need, that the quantity is huge, then you can move on to the next step in this journey. Identifying the need is one thing, quantifying the need is another thing. Because do not forget, you need the numbers to match whatever service you are offering. So if you take for example, you live in a place where people have, you stop on the need of people that need a particular product in a particular way. And then upon research, you observe that the number of people that want to be served that way is quite small or low. And that is not big enough for you to make to turn profits. Because every business will require investment from you. And this investment of money and time, you have to look at it and say, okay, how do I have enough people to buy or purchase this product from me for me to break even and even make profits? So the quantification of the need is very, very essential. So questions like how many people are in this area? Take for example, you want to go into the distribution of potable water, and then you have considered the cost of acquiring or producing such water. Then there's need for you to understand that there's market. So this quantification is about the market. Do you have the market that is big enough to make you to make you break even in the next few years or a month or months or year, depending on what your projections are. So all of these things are very, very essential. It's after we've been able to quantify the need, then we move on to the next step. Then you need to quantify your capabilities. You don't want to go into a business that you are not prepared for. It is good that you've been able to identify a need. And it's excellent to know that the market is big enough for you to turn profits. However, you need to look inward. Do not forget you are in business to create value. And when you create value, you capture value in exchange for value. Do not forget that if you don't have the capability to provide this value, you either make a mockery of yourself or the need that you're trying to solve. So it's very, very essential to look inward and observe and understand what your capabilities are. A SWOT analysis will help you, and some other form of analysis can also help. For you to know what will be required of you to do this job or go into this particular business, and ask yourself, do you really and truly have what it takes to actually succeed in this business? Will you be better partnering with somebody? You'll be better working under somebody as an agent collecting commission, or for the time being, while you are building capability in this particular business. You'll be better going back to school or going back to get some form of training. Will it be better for you to do apprenticeship with somebody? Or what? Do you need money? Do you have the finance or the finances to actually support this particular business? Will you need to apply for a loan? Do you have the team? Do I need to set up do I need to hire other members of my team that can complement me in areas where I'm unable to offer the best of myself? So all of these are things that you have to consider before you proceed to the next step. So the first step, like I said, is to identify a need. The second step is to quantify that need. The third step is to quantify your capabilities in terms of resources and all that is required for you to do this job or to do business, as the case may be. After that, then you need to identify the players and other market forces. Who are the players in this industry? What is common to them? How do they operate? You need to identify these common denominators so that you understand the structure and then what obtained in that particular industry. You also need to understand what other market forces affect this business. Is it a seasonal business? Is it a business that relies on government regulations and licenses? Is it a business that you need each capital? Do you have to have some level of certification to be able to operate here? All of these are factors that contribute to your ability to run effectively in that business. So you need to identify the players. So what is common to them? What is the common trend in that particular industry? What are the projections for this industry? So you need to understand all of this before you also proceed to the next step. After you've been able to identify the need, you'll be able to quantify a need, you'll be able to quantify your capabilities, and you'll be able to identify the players and other market forces in that particular industry that you have settled for. Then you now need to determine whether to be aggressive or tread gently. So your understanding of the market trends, industry patterns, will help you to know whether to either go aggressively or tread gently. So you will know whether you have to invest massively or do it incrementally but slowly. So all of these things are factors that you have to put into consideration. You need to understand that is it an industry where it's a blue ocean or a red ocean? If this industry is a blue ocean, maybe I can do aggressive. But if it is a red ocean, you might want to tread gently. However, if you are experienced, you have years of experience working as a businessman and you have just pivoted into a new industry, and you have all the networks and the support that is required for you to succeed, maybe going gently might not be the best route for you. Maybe you have to announce to them that there's a new tariff in town by going aggressively. All of these are factors you need to consider with the help of the consultant that work with you. Once you are done with this particular stage, the next thing to do is to be committed to it. Whatever decision you have made on the back of all of the factors that we have talked about that you must consider, then the next thing is to show commitment. Business is not for the faint-hearted. We must understand this. And the earlier we are able to prepare ourselves for this, the better it is for us. So, as a businessman or a prospective businessman, you must be committed. It's going to take more than your typical 9 to 5. Business is 24 hours because you are constantly involved, thinking, strategizing, collaborating with people, meeting with people, seeking advice on how to do your business and make it even better. And once you are committed, the next thing I would like to add to this is we need to get a consultant to help. Having a consultant to go with you while starting a business is a major, major and very, very important step that you must consider. You cannot afford to do a business without having somebody who is giving you a second opinion, an expert opinion on what you're about to do, so that you are better guided. It's easier to expect to work with a consultant than to experiment with your business and your funds. It saves you and prevents you from making some certain mistakes. And that is what, those are the few steps that we have put together that if you consider them, it will help you to start your business on a good, starting it on a good footing. So, in summary, starting a business is never easy, but we follow these steps that have been laid down. Like I said, there could be other steps to consider, but you follow these steps that we've talked about, we are certain that your chances of succeeding has increased dramatically because a lot of factors that will hinder your success will have been thoroughly dealt with. And you'll have been able to understand properly what some other things that you're supposed to put in place that can serve as the building block for your success. And on the last point, that's why Pelse Consulting is here to work with you. In case you are running a business and you need us to help you with one way or the other to support you, we are available. Just send a mail to us at info@pelseconsulting.com and somebody will get in touch with you. Until next time when we shall meet, that will be all from me. I will also ask you to please follow us on all our social media platforms so that you can be updated on happenings and all the programs that we have for the development of the SMEs, which is our core focus. Remember, we are not going to stop until we see you succeed. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.